Hey guys, and welcome to a Get Ready With Me. Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, people who I actually know, outside of the internet, you guys know that a lot of shit has been going on in my life right through here. So I had a video for this week, but in lieu of recent events, I opted to go ahead and film another one just because you guys have a right to know what's going on just like everybody else does. If you're new to my channel, first of all, welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Faith Grenade and I put makeup videos here on YouTube. See that subscribe button down there? It's down there somewhere. Just go ahead and hit it for me. You'll be glad you did, trust me. I normally make makeup content, but every now and again I will sit down and I will film these kinds of Get Ready With Me videos to just update people on my life. And that's what we're doing here today. So I guess I'll just get down to the brass tacks. A lot of you, if you've been kind of part of my channel since the OG days, the very beginning, you know that I am obviously a bald person by choice. I shaved my head, actually just recently celebrated 3 years of shaving my head for cancer awareness. And I would always tell you guys that I started doing it because a family member of mine was diagnosed with cancer. Now I can finally sort of let the cat out of the bag and come clean about that family member and about the things that have been going on with that family member. So that family member that was diagnosed with cancer was my mom. My mom was diagnosed about 3.5 years ago with ovarian cancer, clear cell carcinoma, if you want to kind of look that up to be more specific. She basically ended up, she had like a cyst on her ovary that was like the size of a baseball that was giving her a huge amount of trouble. So they removed that and had the surrounding tissues tested, and that cyst was not cancer, but there was cancer there. So that was, shitty. And unfortunately with clear cell ovarian cancer, and ovarian cancers pretty much in general, if they're confined to the ovary, the 5-year survival rate is about 95%, which is great. But if they've moved to other organs and tissues, which is usually the case because usually they are not caught until far, far later in the process, the 5-year survival rate hovers between 9 and 25%. And my mom had, at the time her cancer was discovered, it had spread to the adjacent lymph nodes, which is never good because lymph nodes are the transporter, the Hermesian transporters of the human body. They scatter cells throughout the body, so once cancer cells reach the lymph nodes, it can be very, very easily spread to other vital organs. So the prognosis was good. She went through 4 rounds of chemotherapy and 1 round of radiation. And then the reason I came here to the States was that she recently had finally, she was in so much pain and discomfort from the side effects of the chemo drugs that she had elected to stop treatment and go into hospice, which basically means, no more chemo, no more radiation, nothing like that. You just sort of take care of your quality of life until such a time as you expire. At the time that I came here, my mom had a prognosis of 6 months. 2 weeks later, on October 13th, she died in hospice in their respite care facility. She had deteriorated quite quickly. None of us saw it coming. So I'm glad that I got to be here for her, and that's the story, basically. All these times that I've had to be super, super vague about what's been going on, that's why. The reason that I had to be so vague, and you guys know I had my reasons, but mainly it was at my mother's request because my mom was a psychology professor at a college here in my home state for a very, very, very long time, and she knew that I was friends with a lot of her old students, and she didn't want to worry them. So that was the main reason she had me kind of keep quiet on social media. So I had to be vague. I'm sorry about that, but now that, you know, this has passed and my mother is no longer with us, I can sort of talk about it again and really come clean about what's been happening. You probably are a little bit shocked and a little bit confused, especially if you're not friends with me on Facebook. You had no idea any of this was going on. And you're wondering how I'm so sort of nonchalant about this whole thing. And to be honest, this, you know, was a thing that our family had seen coming for a long time. You know, ovarian cancer has no cure, so we knew from the moment she was diagnosed that this was not going to end the way we wanted it to end, with her surmounting the disease. But she lasted a good long time, and she had, you know, she got the chance to see me find what I wanted to do with my life. She got the chance to see both me and my sister get married and settle into the beginnings of our lives, and she had gotten everything done that she really needed to get done. So by the end of it all, she was in so much pain and discomfort that when she finally did pass, it was more of a relief to us than anything, because we really just wanted it to end. We wanted her to not be suffering anymore, and now she's not. So it's, you know, just because I'm able to sit here and talk about it with you guys doesn't mean I'm not upset about it. And that's one of the things that I sort of wanted to talk about is, you know, grieving and the process of grieving and how different it can be depending on the individual. I mean, you know, yeah, I had my, you know, stereotypical emotional moments where I'm like falling apart and crying and stuff like that, but honestly, you know, and my family, a lot of the rest of my family has sort of adopted this mindset too. I think it's an Eastern European thing. Y'all can clarify that for me, I'm sure. But it's always sort of been a thing with my family where we feel that being overly expressively emotional and getting really worked up and all that doesn't really help anyone in the long run. You know, it's not something that sort of does the situation any good or helps to rectify anything. So we don't really feel the need to express ourselves in that way. But at the same time, you know, that doesn't mean we're not upset. It doesn't mean we're not absolutely crushed by what is going on. It just means that we have a different way of dealing with it. And that's totally okay, because different people have different ways of dealing with this sort of thing. There is no right or wrong way to grieve someone. And I think that's what I want to impress on you guys. Should any of you, God forbid, ever have to go through this, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, you do whatever feels right for you, whatever you think is going to be best for your health and for your process, because they can sort of talk about like, oh, you're going to have denial, you're going to have this step, you're going to have that step, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. But at the end of the day, it's very, very individual, and you have to sort of learn to embrace that process and to sort of accept it. What's been going on with me is I've just been doing, as I so eloquently put it on Facebook, the parts of death they don't talk about in the movies. Because in the movies it's just like, oh, the person's sick, and then they die dramatically, and then everyone's sad, and then it jumps straight to the funeral, and then from the funeral it jumps straight to, you know, the new normal and moving on and all that great happy-go-lucky stuff. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way a lot of the time. You know, there's logistical things that need to happen, there's stuff that needs done, you know, because people don't just die and that's it. You know what I mean? They don't just sort of peacefully fade away and then that's it, and then you have, you know, the funeral and then you move on with your life. There's logistical things that have to happen, people that need contacted, companies that need contacted, accounts that need shut down, you know. Death is hard work, post-death in particular. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of hassle and headache and stress, so I've been doing a lot of that lately. along with Justin, who's been a terrific help through all of this. He came, actually the day Mom died was when he was getting on a plane to come and see me, and I feel terrible to this day that, you know, he ended up being too late, but better late than never. Y'all know I have some anxiety issues stemming from failure, so this is one of those situations that can be a big, you know, jump point or a big trigger for anxiety in myself, because it's something where I could fail at doing this. I could do it wrong, and in this particular case, if I do something wrong or miss something, that would be really bad, and create a whole lot of headache later. So the pressure's on, and I'm feeling it, but this too shall pass, as they say, and I'm just having to take things one little day at a time. All I can say, really, with certainty right through here, is that I hope none of my friends ever have to go through what I went through watching my mom and caring for her up until her death, because that was just, well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was awful. It was one of the most difficult, taxing things that I've ever had to do, and I'm sure you guys can imagine that. People around me, even if they haven't been in this kind of situation, they can easily put themselves in this sort of situation with an empathetic mindset. You know, even somebody who's normally not empathetic at all can put themselves in this situation and can empathize. Everyone has been just wonderful. People have been very kind on social media, and, you know, making sure to check up on me and making sure that I'm doing okay, which I forget to do a lot of the time because I'm so focused on other things, but it's been really great. Everyone has been very, very kind and very, you know, supportive of my sister and I as we navigate our way through this process of, you know, logistical nonsense. Thank you to everyone who is watching this and has shared their condolences and shared their memories of my mom, you know, whether you knew her or not. It does give me a good amount of comfort to know that my mom had such an impact on so many people. She was very present in everything she did. You know, right up until her death, she was smiling at the nurses, even when she couldn't speak anymore. And it was just, you know, she was always present, always present. She was just that sort of person that people could go to whenever they needed help, whenever they needed advice. She always had such an insight about her. And, you know, obviously there's a very deep void that's left in her wake, but, you know, she did everything she possibly could to make sure my sister and I would be okay, and that we would be able to move on with our lives as quickly and as seamlessly and painlessly as possible. Because I had so little time to prepare for this trip, I mean, my mom called and she was like, hey, I think I need you to come home, and I booked my tickets that evening for like 3 days from then, so I had like no time to get ready. I had no time to prepare any videos in advance, so I kept filming because that's what I do. You know, filming is what I love. YouTube is what I love. I love doing makeup. I love talking about makeup. I love, you know, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I love it, or I wouldn't have been doing it for the last 4 years with no paycheck. I would have given it up and moved on to the next thing by now, but I really enjoy it. And it was a way for me to sort of feel normal again, because everything gets uprooted when someone dies, especially if it was a close family member and, you know, you're in charge of executing their estate or something or anything like that. You know, it completely uproots your entire existence, and you have to try and, you know, wade your way through the darkness. And it can be so helpful and so rejuvenating to just feel like a normal person again, and do things that you used to do, and, you know, have those routines and things like that. And that's what YouTube has been for me. So, you know, all the videos you guys have seen have been, you know, videos that I filmed all throughout this time period. And there was a reason for that. And it was just my way of escaping everything that was going on and sort of settling into a normal routine. And it'll be a while before things get back to normal. I may never be the same normal I was before all this went down, but, you know, there are things that are going to fundamentally change in my life. Hell, even in my channel. The background of my channel is going to change. You will still see the same kind of craziness you're accustomed to seeing, but these things do change people, and they do, you know, make your life very turbulent for a while. And I don't think I'll ever completely get over it, but I almost don't want to. You know, I want to remember my mom. I want to honor her in everything that I do, and, you know, work to do all the things that she wanted for me, because it's the least I can do, you know, after all of this and after everything she did and everything she sacrificed for me. Our dad died of another kind of cancer when I was extremely young. I don't think my sister and I had even turned 2 yet. My mom was like the only parent I had. You know, for our entire lives growing up, it was just us girls. It was me, my sister, and my mom. She was the only person I really had on a day-to-day basis to help me through, you know, any sort of trying times that I would have. It sucks not having her here, because there are some moments through this process, you know, when you're dealing with, like, logistical paperwork and all that fucking nightmarish stuff. When you're dealing with all of that, there's some moments where you're like, oh, I'm gonna call mom and ask her where she put that paperwork, or I'm gonna call my mom and ask her, you know, what I should do with this account or that account, or, you know, whatever. And then you get that little pang of kind of ow in your soul, and you just sort of think, oh wait, I can't, you know, my mom's not around anymore. Which sucks, and that's probably been the shittiest part of this whole process, is the very person who I would go to for advice when something like this happens is gone. So I really have had to stand on my own 2 feet and be more of an adult than I have ever had to be in my entire life. Someone you love will die, and you will be saddled with settling an estate and things like that. And it's going to be painful, and you're going to be super confused, and, you know, it's a tough thing to have to go through, especially if you've never done it before, and, you know, it's all new to you, and you're already feeling the pain of a loss, and now on top of that pain, and on top of trying to manage the grieving process, you're having to do all this other stuff, and it's just really stressful. And so if I can, you know, talk about it on here and sort of give you guys tools that might be useful to you at some point in the future, if and when this does happen to you, then that's what I'm going to do. Write a goddamn will. Like, my mom was a planner. She was a preparer. She was always ready for anything. You know, she thought ahead eons and eons. And the minute she was diagnosed with this type of cancer and got her prognosis, she immediately put her nose to the grindstone and set out, you know, getting her affairs in order, because you never know what can happen. Like I was saying before, at the time that I was summoned home by my mother, she had gotten a prognosis of about 6 months, and I got home and she was dead 2 weeks later. So literally anything can happen. You never know when you or someone you love is going to leave this mortal plane, and you don't want to leave a confusing mess of a situation behind, you know what I mean? So a will is such a massive help in making sure that you know what's going on, that you know what that person's wishes are, and that you can carry them out in a way that's very easy and painless. Because, I mean, you can still settle an estate without a will, but it would be so much harder to do this if my mom didn't write a will. And so now I'm telling everybody I know, like, write a will. Even if you're, you know, doesn't matter if you're 15 or 55, write a will. You will thank me later. And remind your parents and your friends and anyone who's still alive around you, you know. Write a will, keep it on file, check on it every now and again, make sure everything's still the way you want it to be. But yeah, so far it's sort of just been a lot of errand running, a lot of paperwork, a lot of phone calls, things like that. But it's also been a lot of visiting family, it's been a lot of, you know, being comforted and sharing memories and all that good stuff, so you take the good with the bad, you know what I mean? It brings me to a really interesting story. I had just gotten the phone call from my mom asking me to come home the previous day, and my best friend in Japan, Diana, she's been in a few of my videos. You guys have probably seen her every now and again on my vlogs and my wear tests and stuff. But she wanted to sort of help me take my mind off of things and, you know, go somewhere meditative where I could relax and sort of collect myself before the impending wave of bullshit to come. So she took me to Kamakura and Enoshima, where the biggest Buddha statue in the world is located. We went to Enoshima, and we went to another Buddhist temple. This wasn't the place that the statue was. This was just another Buddhist temple kind of off to the side of things. And we went there, and we saw a Buddhist wedding, which was really cool. And we picked out fortunes, because you could pay $2 and you pick a little fortune out of a box. And of course the fortunes were in Japanese, so we couldn't really read them. So when we got back home from the trip, which was awesome, by the way, when we got back from that trip, we went to the Blue Moon, which is the bar on base, and we went to Toshi, who is the bartender there. And Toshi is a Japanese national. He's fluent in Japanese. That was his first language. And I figured that he would probably be able to help us translate those. And he said that hers said something about, you know, going with her gut instinct and trusting her gut and stuff like that. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. And then he turned to mine and he unfolded it. It's like a little folded piece of paper. And he got this look on his face that was just like sort of shock. And he said, oh, this is a good fortune. And I said, oh, really? Cool. What does it say? And he said, you know, the first thing it says is go with the flow. And that was something that I had been telling myself for a while. So I was like, oh, cool. Okay. And then he said that it said, if you go with the flow, you will be happy. And I was like, cool. I can gel with that. And then what he said next literally gave me chills. He said the next line of the fortune said, go see your family. And it was, you know, Diana and I looked at each other and it's just like goosebumps came all over me. I got tingly all over. It was crazy. And Diana was just sitting there like, dude. And then he said that the last line read, if you go and see your family, everyone will be happy. And oh my gosh, like that just completely threw me for a loop. I'm not normally the kind of person who's like super superstitious or anything like that, or a believer in like fortune tellers or whatnot, but that literally gave me goosebumps. Like it gave me chills, and because, you know, it was like, how did it know? Like I'm planning on going to see my family. I had just bought my plane tickets. This is crazy. I am going to be coming back to Japan in early November, and I'm gonna be, you know, dealing with some stuff, tying up some loose ends, and getting ready for whatever comes next, honestly. Whatever that'll end up being. I'll of course keep you guys up to date on what's going on, at least as much as I can. Obviously, you guys know, or at least most of you know, I'm a military spouse, so there's certain things that when they first happen or are starting to happen, I can't talk about. Like, for example, if we end up moving back here, I can't really say exactly when we will be back here, because there's a thing called Operation Security, and those regulations are put in place to keep my husband safe. I also might be a little bit scatterbrained as time goes on, and as I've got a lot of other things going on and a lot of other shit to deal with. So I know it's sort of unreasonable for me to ask even more of you guys than I already do, but bear with me, you know, if I'm a little bit wacky sometimes, or if I seem a little bit distracted. It's just a part of the process, and you know, this grieving process is something that I have to go through, and it's going to be difficult at some points in time, so bear with me. You guys have borne with me so far, and I promise I won't actively try to let you down. I've done a lot of retail therapy, which might not be the most advisable thing, but you know, I feel like I've got a reasonable excuse. The woman who runs Atomic Cosmetics discontinued every shade of their Spackle foundation except for white, and I'm a little bit butthurt about it because, you know, every time I use this foundation, I'm just like, God damn, this is like my holy grail foundation. It's the perfect coverage level, it's the perfect texture, it doesn't make me itchy or break me out, and it's just perfect. And she got rid of it. Why get rid of a perfect thing, I will never know. But yeah, time to go ahead and throw on some setting spray and lips, I think. So, I actually forgot my setting spray at home because I'm a terrible person. And I was a huge flake fest when I was packing for this trip. So I ended up having to go to Five Below, which I hadn't been to a Five Below store, child, in like forever. It had been so long, but I went to one on a whim, and I found the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. I'd heard a lot of good things about this, so anxious to try it. Spray it out a little bit. Well, I'm going to throw on some lips, and then I will be back to settle things out with you guys.
You're not recording.
You're so tedious. I am recording.
Oh, you are recording?
Yeah.
Well, no, don't.
That's about it for me, guys. I just, as you can see, a few things changed. I went a little nuts with the black eyeliner, but you know, it's Halloween week and I am about that life, so I went back to my gothy roots a little bit and did it big. But I hope you guys found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining. It was fun catching up with you, and if you did find this helpful, informative, or entertaining, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt, you know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the Faithful today. I put out new videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Ladies, go schedule your screening for ovarian cancer, and everybody, call your mom if she's still around. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Toodles! Say bye, dear.
Peace.